Beg your pardon. Simon Fell.
Mr Deputy Speaker, and I'd like to thank the honourable members for Brentford South and Waveney as well for securing this debate. It is timely and hopefully, as my colleague behind me says, the end of the trilogy. I'm also very glad to see the Minister in his place. I asked him about this issue only a few days ago at Health and Social Care Questions. To set a bit of context, in Barrow-in-Furness we are not well served at all by our dental provision. We have excellent dentists, but we don't have enough of them. And I also have a problem of closing practices. So Bupa in Barrow have announced their closure, as has my dentist in Dalton. One dentist office just outside of my constituency, but serving my constituents, has closed in Millom. And Avondale in Grange over Sands has handed back its NHS list. So I now have constituents who haven't seen a dentist in years, who are in a very poor situation indeed. I have pregnant mothers who aren't able to make their appointments. I have constituents self-medicating every night because they can't find care. 7-year-olds who've never seen a dentist, and constituents performing their own dental care with packs that they buy from Boots the chemist. It simply isn't good enough. Before the first of the practices in Furness closed, and because of the volume of constituents who came to see me to discuss their frustrations of being placed on waiting lists for waiting lists, or of not being able to be seen at all, I hosted a couple of roundtables with local dentists. They were very candid with me about their concerns, and they were candidly frustrated as well, to be honest. I also met with the senior management at Bupa and my dentist and spoke to local healthcare leaders before our ICB came into force. Two things came up in those discussions, again and again. They have been well rehearsed already in this debate, so I won't labour the point. But the first is the inability to recruit the dentists we need to deliver NHS care. Bupa told me that half of their 85 practices currently have vacancies that have been open for over 6 months. They need over 150 dentists nationwide to provide the kind of NHS care that they would like to. And then in areas like mine, rural, isolated areas, recruitment is compounded by those additional challenges, trying to draw people into rural and isolated areas. Dentists also raise the issue of recruitment from abroad. I fully recognise that we would like to be sustainable and grow our own. I've heard a few pitches for dental colleges in this debate. I'm not asking for one. But when demand is outstripping supply, we do have to be realistic. I'm told that the overseas registration examination doesn't meet demand, and while the process for registering performer numbers is long-winded and overly complex, it puts off some dentists who might be attracted to come to the UK. We have to look at reforming that. The second issue raised is that dentists are often put off from practicing NHS care in more deprived areas where the work is more complex and more expensive to deliver. This leads, and I know we've all seen this, into ever-decreasing circles of care. Poor dental health leads to worse provision, leads to a lack of appointments, it leads to even worse dental care and dental health. I could go on, but I'm sure you get the picture. There was hope that the reforms to the UDA system would address this, but practices are telling me that certainly for rural and isolated areas like mine, they do not go far enough to address the disparity that we're seeing in the system. The fact is that since these changes were announced, I've seen a further 2 practices close, and I think that is testament to the challenges that these issues are throwing up. Following the most recent announcement of closure, I wrote to my honourable friend, the Minister, and he very kindly responded very quickly, and he said that we are aware of the need to go further in improving the NHS dental system. We're planning further reforms, and discussions are underway with dental stakeholder groups, including the BDA and patients, to improve NHS dental services further. I'd welcome an update from the Minister on those plans, and details as to how my remaining dentists can feed into that process, because they certainly have things to say about it. I'm drawing to a close, but before I do, I must say it's not all doom and gloom. I am incredibly grateful to the current Minister and his predecessors for engaging so openly on this and for seeking actively to try and find solutions to the issue. The movements on UDA pricing are welcome. They can go further, as can contract reform, and the aspiration to make visa schemes more workable are music to my ears. I'm keen to see what he has to say on this. However, as I said at the start, Mr. Deputy Speaker, what was a bad situation is now a dire one for my constituents in Barrow. We need to act quickly, improving UDAs, streamlining the visa process and working on recruitment as a priority. It's not an unreasonable expectation to hope for dental care to be available closer to where you live. We often chance our hands in here and ask for big projects to come to our constituencies. This is a minor but a crucial ask, and it's one that I very much hope we will soon be able to deliver. Thank you, Mr.
Jim Shannon.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. Can I say what an